Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 8. Very nice cover. Very interesting because you're like, what the fuck? So, the last time we left off with Spidey, he was pretty much plummeting to his death. But we find out he does get out of the situation pretty well, actually. I mean, we get a lot of tension of, like, how's he going to do this? So instead of having his web shooters, he is able to utilize and pretty much break one of his web cartridges that he's got to pretty much blow out into a web, and we get a nice artwork here of him being like, yes, it worked! And someone's like, Spidey, look out! I really like that because it really shows the direness of the situation. He's like, sweet God, it worked. However, he doesn't really have time to ruminate on his success as Vulture pretty much just comes in screaming die. And I do have to give them props for changing up the lettering and even the coloring for certain kind of screams and stuff. I mean, they really went out and did the good kind of PowerPoint kind of way, where if you've got a lot of weird shit that you're kind of going through and you want to give them all their kind of little flavor, you kind of change up your word art, you change up your font style and everything. So it's kind of cool. So that way you can be like, hey, look, this is when he's screaming die at him. So he's like, all right, I gotta figure out what's kind of going on. He's really kind of vicious on this, and he's like doing the whole thing with Tiana. And I would almost think after I had read this issue that maybe it was like Chasm that told his granddaughter about the whole thing instead of Peter, because Peter seems to have like no fucking clue what Toombs is talking about. And he's like, you told her she told her I was a murderer. Aren't you currently, in fact, trying to murder me? As he tells him to shut up, and he slams him pretty much into like a brick outcropping kind of thing. He's like, all right, my ribs are kind of fucked up. They're either bruised or they're broken. So not much time. He gets on the phone with Norman, calling him for the new suit. And he's like, I can't do that, Peter. And he's like, what the fuck, man? I'm going to die, man. He's like, I'm afraid I can't help you, Peter. Good luck. And Peter's like, what? As we then see that Norman then starts crushing the phone and slamming it into the desk. You're like, why wouldn't he send the suit there? And it is answered in this issue. And that's really kind of cool way to see the kind of progression. I do like seeing when we see like just a layout like this of just a couple panels and you get that kind of story progression like that. So he's trying to think of what he's got to do. He's got no web shooters. He's beat to a pulp. And, of course, Toombs still comes after him, so Peter gets the bright idea to pretty much get on top of him and pretty much steer him as Toombs is like, are you steering me, motherfucker? He's like, maybe. It's like he's still in a kind of fucked up situation, but, like, you get that kind of good Peter Parker Spider-Man kind of humor going on as he then just bonks Toombs into the fucking Oscorp building. He's like, shit. He's like, he's getting back up. And he's trying to kind of like run around for me. He's like, I'm gonna fucking take you down. Like, and then as he's like shouting at him that he's coming to get his ass, we see the windows cracking as we then get this really fucking awesome just debut of Spidey's new suit and him utilizing this like flying glider spider thing. He's like, hey, Toombs, it just works very well. You see the shattering glass and everything, but it's really nicely well done. Like, it doesn't have as much kind of movement as you would have in an action scene. It's very crisp and just like really well done in detail. And then I love it. He goes after him and he goes chirp chirp as he then punches his ass. He's like, alright, I kind of understand why you fly. It's pretty awesome. Feels like cheating. This, on the other hand, definitely is cheating. As he tosses one of the pretty much pumpkin bomb kind of things, which turns out to be a kind of spider bomb that lets off little robotic, well, I would say robotic, because it'd be fucking kind of crazy if there were actually fucking little spiders that were allowed to be like, oh, we got blown up, so we're just going to fucking come and eat this dude's eyes out. He's like, get him off me! And he's like, alright, I'm gonna help you out. I'm coming. As he then gets on his back again, and yeah, he does call them little robot spiders, but it would just be fucking freaky if he had like, hey, here's these spiders like wrapped up in this bomb, and then he utilizes the glider to pretty much come and like help him out, and he pretty much just uses it as a jetpack and slams him into the wall, And he's like, oh wait, there's one more thing the suit can do. Check it out. Oh darn it. Oh, he's asleep. Darn it. As he then shifts it to pretty much do a kind of emoji thing. So it's like, wow, okay, it's maybe more kind of Iron Man-ish rather than cloth. I mean, granted, there's a lot of different kind of things going on with it, but evidently this is more of a helmet kind of scenario than a mask scenario, which is an interesting kind of way to show us and give us that. So then, of course, later on, he's pretty much got him webbed up, pretty much trying to figure out, hey, he's like, why didn't you just kill me? He's like, whoa, that's intense, man. What is going on with you? Of course, he brings up the whole thing. It's like, right, instead of looking in the mirror and asking yourself if maybe you should have killed less people, you thought the best way to deal with that is to kill me. All right, how about this? You settle for the fact you almost killed me and I'm going to be sore for like a month. He's like, I guess I am. So then we see Peter pop in on Norman. He's like, what the fuck, man? I needed the suit. Is that what, I almost got killed. Is that what you wanted? And he's like, what I wanted was to put on that suit and glide to his location and save him. And he's like, because I'm me. Because if I got on that glider, I might not have gotten off. And it's cool because Peter's like, oh, alright. He then explains, like, the Sin Eater took the sins away, but he's still him. It's a risk, and he can't do that for anybody. But he does want Peter at Oscorp. It's not a trap. And that he thinks that Peter can help him not go down a road that leads to him. And then Peter's trying to get a word, and he's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I believe you. And then he likes the plasma jet engine, and that he's like, yeah, you're hired. As we then get a nice, cool layout there as we see him shaking hands and everything. So this is a definite, interesting kind of setup here. Granted, I still would like to know what Peter did and why everybody was kind of pissed at him and what was with the whole kind of explosion and everything. Evidently, Osborn had gave him help and everything, but this is actually an interesting kind of status quo shakeup that I am interested in them exploring, where Peter's kind of on the outs, but yet Osborn's like, listen, I'm trying to be better. I would like you to help me be better. And Peter's like, sure, yeah, I kind of want to do that. And that's the thing. Peter definitely has to walk this line of being able to provide as much of a chance or second chance or like however many chances, because he does give a lot of chances to a lot of people, versus being careful of these people, because this is Norman fucking Osborn. Okay? Even without the Sin Eater stuff, everybody has a potential to be the giant dickhead that fucking does something completely and utterly horrendous. And Norman has proved more times than not that he usually gives into that dickhead. However, I kind of want to see how this kind of plays out. I didn't think I would be that invested with it, but I'm like, this is kind of interesting. I like kind of seeing what would happen if a hero was utilizing Goblin tech, and not just any hero, but Spider-Man, like almost kind of inverting it, of being like, well, not completely inverting it. It's not like you get Osborn going around in like a low-tech Goblin suit while we've got the high-tech Spider suit and Peter going, woo! You know what I mean? But it's kind of interesting to see how this dynamic would kind of work and what kind of frictions there would be between a Norman trying to be good and a Peter trying to get into a more kind of stable place and also make sure he helps out. That's fertile story territory there that really hasn't been explored, and I'm like, now that you're doing it, I'm kind of interested in this. Let's kind of see how this kind of works out. So I do like that setup. However, we are now in issue 8. I hope we get more exploration of what Peter did, because there does get to a point where you have a crazy ass setup, and they did their setup to pretty much get Peter into this kind of status quo where it would make sense for him to work with Osborn, and that's cool. We need a little bit more of an explanation on what happened and why people were kind of like, what the fuck did you do, man? And everything going on with that. So you're getting into too slow on the slow burn territory on that, for kind of my opinion. However, there is stuff going forward enough that I'm like, okay, I like this. I kind of want to see what happens here. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.